Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So today I was listening to something on YouTube and I'd actually heard Joel Salatin, which if you don't know who that is, he's like a really big name in the homesteading and regenerative farming community, and he kind of is a pioneer of the whole movement of, feeding things and doing things in a regenerative way that's good for the planet. But anyways, I had heard him saying in a clip of a video somewhere that most homesteaders actually quit after 7 years due to burnout and being just completely and utterly exhausted. And I think honestly that that's probably a very, very true statistic, except for I think it's less time than that. I don't think that many people actually make it to that 7 year mark. Especially because more recently, in the last couple of years, I think that a lot of people have run into the homesteading movement and creating a homestead because of they were afraid of what was going on in the world around them, and they were concerned about food security issues. And I think that while fear can be a really good motivator for some people, myself included, I don't think that if you come into this lifestyle out of a place of fear, that it is a lifestyle that is going to stick for any length of time. And the main reason for that is because of how much work is involved with it. You may be somebody that has already done a little bit of a garden or has had chickens or whatever, that has a little bit of an insight as to, what you think this life will be. Or you watch a lot of YouTubers and stuff, or follow a bunch of people on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever platform you like that is doing this sort of a lifestyle. But there are a lot of channels that I stopped watching because of the fact that they just portray it as all being rainbows and sunshine and unicorn farts and just everything is perfect all of the time. And that is something that I've strived for with this channel, is to keep it very real, keep it very authentic, and to just share the honest truth about what this life is, and what it is not. And so I wanted to talk with you guys because there are a lot of people at this time of year that are thinking about putting in their first gardens, or thinking about getting more land, or adding chickens, or doing something big, some sort of big shift and big change to the homestead, or even just diving in. And I kind of want this to be a message that, hopefully a lot of people will see it, so that way they have more of a full picture of what it is that they're getting into, without like without getting themselves into trouble, thinking emotionally or mentally that this is going to be an easy, quick thing, that it's going to be fun, that it's going to be romanticized, that it's going to be beautiful, because it is not. This lifestyle is hard. It is a lot of work. Like, while I don't find it hard or difficult, I find it exhausting. It is exhausting to every single day, no matter what the weather is like outside, no matter if it's raining, if it's really hot, if it's really cold, any of those things, that I have to go out to the barn. I have to spend time with the animals. Like right now, I don't have any goats in milk. So, like, right now, for the time being, my chores is a lot less in the mornings. So it used to, whenever I had to milk the goat and do different things for the goats because of, being in milk and having babies and all that stuff, morning chores used to take me about an hour and a half every single morning by myself, just outside, rain or shine, or if it was snowing, just watering everybody, feeding everybody, taking care of everybody, making sure that everyone was okay, doing a chicken count, making sure that nothing happened through the night, also trying to figure out like where the new laying spot is for the chickens and stuff. So those things, they take a lot of time. Now that I don't have a goat to milk, and I've become more, I think the word is autonomous. Something like that. I can see it in my brain, but I can't pronounce it. So it is what it is. I've gotten more efficient systems in place since I don't have the goat to milk. I don't have to worry about so many different things. It now takes me roughly an hour every morning to take care of everybody, and that's also including taking care of the dogs in the morning too. So that does take some time, because dogs are needy, but so are goats. So, but a lot of people, they try to make it seem like as if it is not that big of a deal. You just throw out some feed and then the chickens magically give you eggs and all this stuff, and it should take 5 minutes tops every day. That is not the reality of it. Where you have animals, you have a lot of things that are breaking down, that need rebuilt, that need fixed, fences that need done, fences that need put in place, pastures need expansion, finding a hay dealer, getting hay, putting up hay for winter, moving hay. There's a lot of different moving parts of this lifestyle that people don't discuss because it's really quite boring. There's a reason that I don't bring you guys along in the mornings when I'm doing animal chores, because it'd just be like an hour of silence of you guys watching me walk back and forth with feed containers and giving animals lovin's and pettins and things of that nature and talking to them and asking them how they slept. Because sometimes you really should ask your animals that, because sometimes, like when they got horns and stuff, if they didn't sleep good, you'll find out the hard way. Just throwing that out there. But so there's a lot of different things that it takes time, and it's not pretty. Cleaning out a barn, it is never pretty. It never smells pretty. It never looks pretty. It does grow some really pretty flowers and some really awesome tasting vegetables to, clean out the barn and put it straight on the garden. But the reality of it is like this whole entire, every aspect of this lifestyle, it takes a tremendous amount of time. Cooking from scratch, it takes time. Once you start cooking from scratch, it's kind of hard to not continue to cook from scratch, simply because your taste buds get so used to it. Just like once you've had homegrown tomatoes, store-bought ones taste terrible. Like you don't want to ever eat them from a restaurant or in the store, and especially if they're out of season. Like it's not good. Like anybody that knows me will think that I don't like tomatoes, because I will only eat the tomatoes that we grew ourselves, because I don't like them. I don't like any of them that come from the store. They taste terrible. So it kind of puts you as being a bit of a food snob once you start, because you get so used to having such high quality food all of the time in your diet that even going to a restaurant, especially once you start learning how to cook better, once you start doing that route and growing your own food, then when you go to restaurants, you're pretty much perpetually disappointed. So it kind of changes your whole outlook on life, because you realize that pretty much everything is better that you can do yourself, which becomes, honestly, it kind of becomes addicting, because then you want to try to do everything yourself, which then leads to more and more work, more tiredness, more exhaustion, more hours spent doing stuff on your own land instead of going and hanging out with friends or doing fun experiences. I don't know what people do for fun. I find it really enjoyable to work a lot, which makes homesteading a very good avenue for me to have as sort of my hobby. Even though I view it more as a job, but it definitely is a good pastime for me, because I like to work. I feel very pleased and satisfied, and I get a lot of fulfillment and enjoyment out of completing projects. And with homesteading, it is basically a never-ending, year-round project of this needs done, that needs done, this needs fixed, that needs fixed. And granted, we did buy a fixer-upper, so it did make things more complicated. It did make it so that way there is a lot more work that has to be done, with trying to get things brought up to a level that everything is safe, everything is functional, everything is comfortable. But beyond that, like even once all the projects are done, because I've gotten a lot done in the past year of owning this place, it is still just a lot of work. Like every morning, once the sun comes up, it's usually about 7:15ish. So sunrise has been, I think, about 6:30 here. So I usually wait about 45 minutes to an hour after the sun officially rises up, according to the weather app, to then go outside to let everybody out of the barn, because I've learned that my goats, they like to sleep in, and they get really grumpy if you don't let them sleep in. And they're housed in the same place as our chickens, so kind of got to accommodate one while making the other angry. And I'd rather have a bunch of little tiny chickens be mad at me than have the goats mad. So I go out at like 7:15ish in the morning, and I don't come back in till about 8:15, somewhere in there. And most of the time I already have had fed the dogs and the cats inside. So it takes, at least an hour every day just to do the basic chores in the morning. And then in the evening, it's at least another half an hour with a partner there to help take care of everything. So, I mean, that's, easily an hour and a half to 2 hours a day that I am devoting to just taking care of livestock. That's a lot of time, and you got to take in consideration too. You have to cook for yourself, you have to make your meals. And like now that it's getting into gardening season, I'm spending that much time outside, rain, sun, shine, like anything, sleet. It's basically like I'm the postman. Okay, I'm spending all of that time and energy outside, and all of this like effort, we'll just say, outside to keep everybody alive. It's not like, oh, well, I'm just raising these chickens because they're going to go in my freezer later. It's just the normal maintenance. And granted, we are raising a lot of animals for meat, but we are doing them kind of trickled throughout the entire year of, well, we have some extra hens, we have some extra roosters, we have some extra drakes, we have some extra geese, that sort of a thing, where we're just, when there's extra, they go. So it's not like when somebody does meat birds, how it's just kind of all one big flush all at one time, that you have this extra load of work and then it's all done. and stuff. But that leads me to the next point of, not only is there a lot of work to keep the animals alive, but to actually process them, to get them into your freezer, to actually get what the animal's for, that also takes a ton of work. So basically, if the skinny of it is literally every aspect of homesteading is work. While there is fun parts, there are enjoyable parts, there's a lot of beautiful parts, and you will never be more connected to nature than you will living a life of homesteading. If you aren't somebody that likes to spend a lot of time outside, this is not a good fit for you. If you're somebody that does not like having work to do every single day or having a long to-do list every week, this is not a good fit for you. Because honestly, to be, I don't want to say successful, because I don't think there's a true way of being successful or failing, especially with trying out this sort of a lifestyle. But to really get any fulfillment out of homesteading, you really have to be someone that is able to be a self-starter, that is able to be your own boss, that is able to go, yep, this needs done. I need to do this. 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 And basically keep yourself on task. Keep yourself on a schedule that is also a flexible schedule that just kind of goes with the ebbs and flows of the season and stuff. Like right now, while we have all the animal chores that I've been working on and doing, I've also been in between the chore times and stuff. I've been working on getting the garden put in, getting things planted, planting more fruit trees, planting more berry bushes, also mowing the grass. Like there's so many things that as the year goes on and as the season develops and stuff, that you're just trickling in and adding in a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. So that in the wintertime, you're like, oh, thank God. Like all I have to do is take care of the animals. I have so much free time now that it's kind of unbelievable. But to be quite honest, like, I don't know if I would have been able to convince my wife that we should homestead if we didn't watch all of the people on YouTube and stuff that make it seem like this lifestyle is just all about relaxing and just a slow, steady, comfortable pace of, oh, I milked the goat. It took a half an hour and it's just great, grand, and wonderful. It's like, okay, well, the reality of it is that takes a half an hour twice a day, every single day for the next 6, 9 months, 12 months, whatever kind of goat you have. It depends. Like, I have a Nigerian dwarf that I milked for over an entire year. So every single day, twice a day, I was out there milking her, taking that time, taking that energy, taking that effort. And it becomes a lot after just a short period of time. It gets overwhelming, it gets tiring, it gets exhausting. And then you add in the fact of that most of your friends will never understand what it is that you're doing. They might think it's cool that you have extra produce that you can give them, or a dozen eggs here or there, but a lot of times your friends don't become customers. A lot of times people just, they think since you're already doing it and you like it, that you should just give them stuff because they don't want to work for it, which is incredibly frustrating because it's expensive to homestead. It's not a freebie type of thing. Maybe if you had like 100 acres that you could just let your chickens all free range on and have an unlimited supply, so that way when raccoons and coyotes got them, then you could have more. I guess maybe that would be close to free, but it's never free. Okay, that's what I'm trying to break it down to. Is it is never free. The food is never free. You are always working for it. Your time is valuable, and you are always putting in your time to get this free food. Okay, gardening, it does create produce that is very, very cheap, sometimes even free, because you can, save your seed and you can replant it and yada, yada, yada. If you decided to pay yourself just like $10 an hour, just that isn't even what minimum wage is where I live. If you decided to pay yourself $10 an hour for everything that you are doing, suddenly you realize that it is not free what you are doing, what you are making. It's not a free product. You are having to put out your energy, your life force, your everything into creating this. And that is, I think, honestly, why a lot of homesteaders fail. Well, not fail, but they quit. That's the only thing that I view as a failure, is when somebody quits doing something. There are times that you need to quit stuff that are unhealthy habits and whatnot, but honestly, I think that the biggest reason as to why a lot of homesteaders stopped homesteading and quit doing this lifestyle is because they were fed a lie. They were fed an inauthentic view of what it is. They weren't shown how many hours it takes to actually heat your house with wood. They weren't shown how labor intensive it is to cut the wood, to bring the wood in, to stack the wood, to then light the fire, to then get up in the middle of the night to put more wood in. They're not shown any of that. They're just shown blips and little brief pieces of time and little glimpses into a lifestyle that seems so simple and seems so peaceful and seems so relaxing. They're not shown how terrible it is to go out when you feel like crap and you're super sick, to then have to spend hours outside taking care of the animals or tending to the garden when you don't feel good, or when it's pouring down rain and you're under a tornado warning and you're out in the barn hoping that you can get all the animals to come in so that way they are safe. They're not showing that sort of a thing. And that is the honest to God truth of what this lifestyle is it is hard, it is sweaty, it is gross, it is stinky, it is dirty. That is the reality of homesteading. But it is also, on the same aspect of all of the bad things that it is very peaceful. There is such a big level of peace of mind that comes with this lifestyle, knowing that you are able to heat your house without power, knowing that there will always be food available to you, that you will always have, a pantry that's stocked full of last year's harvest, to know that no matter what happens in the world, you are safe, you are secure, you are okay, you have it all figured out, you have the skill sets in place, the connections in place, that you can keep going no matter what happens in the world. The level of peace that comes with that is quite fulfilling to me. But like I said, I'm also someone that enjoys working, that is, a self-proclaimed workaholic, that finds enjoyment and fulfillment of completing projects and getting tasks done. I am not motivated by money, so I'm more so motivated by, oh, that was nice. Oh yeah, that feels good. Oh, that animal's happy. That's what I did it for. That's what motivates me. Also, snacks. I like snacks. Snacks are a good motivation, and for me, that's why I plant berry bushes along my paths to get to different places, so that way in the summer when it's really hot and miserable out, I can be like, oh, there's a snack, there's a snack, there's a snack. That positive reinforcement thing. Yeah, that's kind of my jam, especially with berries. But anyways, so I hope that this helps you guys. I hope that, someone at least, has an eye-opening experience with what I had to say, because I think that there's enough out there in the world already that's a lot of inauthenticity, a lot of false hope, a lot of fake lives, and I'm not one of those people. So I hope that this real insight actually brings some clarity to some people, and helps somebody. So anyways, if you guys are enjoying my content, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends on social media. If you haven't already, please subscribe to help me grow. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.